Okay, what we're going to do here today on just a real quick video for you is we are going to change out the vacuum tube on, let's see, that's an ART tube MP Studio. So neat little mic preamp here, or instrument preamp, but mine did not, well, it powered up, but I could tell that the tube was affected because it was not glowing, and so I needed to get the preamp tube changed out. I think this is probably or not the preamp tube, actually the only tube that's in it. But this was, I think, probably the original tube that came with it, and I've had it for a while, so it's not surprising that it needs a new tube. So pretty simple here. I just went online and purchased a really neat 12 AX. See if you can see that there. Sorry, I'm filming this on my iPhone, but that's a Sovtech 12 AX7, and so I'm gonna put that in there. It was really simple to open this up. I just kind of wanted to show you. You see here on the sides, there's some areas where the top is threaded into the base. These tiny little screws here, the kind of screw that likes to fall into the carpet of your studio and never come back, but there it is, neat little thing, 4 of those. Just remove that and then carefully open this up. You shouldn't have any problems when you open it up. It is connected here inside, as you can see, but there's plenty of slack on these so that you can sort of pick the top up and get access to this tube socket. So I'm just going to grab this tube. Again, I know this sounds ridiculous. Make sure this thing is not plugged in. And even on some stuff that uses power tubes, even after it's unplugged, it's still not safe to work on because it still has power on the capacitors. So that's just a little disclaimer there. Don't work on anything obviously electronic while it's plugged in. Should go without saying, but I don't want you guys calling me and saying, hey man, I got the crap blown out of me because you didn't remind me to unplug my electronic stuff before I started working on it. That's not my problem, man. That's whoever does that, that is your problem. Not that any of you guys would do that, but this particular tube is kind of stubborn in the socket, and I don't want it to come apart, because if it breaks in the socket, then you do have your hands full pulling that stuff out of the socket. So I'm using this little piece of bubble wrap that came with my new tube to work that tube out of its socket, and it came out. It was in there kind of tight, but there we go. What is this? Yeah, this is sort of the made in China 12AX7. And I don't want to get my fingers on the body of this tube and put any oil or grease on it. So again, I'm grabbing it with the bubble wrap and just inserting it carefully down into the tube socket. It's only one way that it can go in. The way the pins are oriented back there, it is particular to the socket. So I guess you could get it in wrong, but you'd have to force it pretty hard to do that. And typically speaking, if you have to force it, something's not right. So just take it nice and easy. Make sure all the pins are going into their little holes in the socket. That pop that you just heard was some of the bubble wrap popping. That wasn't my tube breaking, thank God. These tubes aren't that expensive. You know, I got mine on Reverb, I think, from a really cool guy for, I think, like 10 bucks or something, and shipped it right to my door, so that was cool. But this is going back on there pretty easy, like that. It's gonna sort of roll back down in place on all sides so that those screw holes line up. Then you should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put these screws back in, but I'm gonna do that offline because you don't need me to teach you how to operate a screwdriver. But it's as simple as that. There you go. All back together again.